I think we're live. I'm just waiting for this thing to turn on here. Yeah, there we go. Alright, what's going on, people? ActiveSyn here, and we're back for another week of Team Red Talks Nintendo. Yes, it is on a Wednesday. Don't check your calendars. Stuff happened. We had to push the show. But we're here. We're going to talk about some Nintendo. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. And if you hear the fan in the background, tough luck, because it's really hot and it's staying on. So, why don't you guys introduce yourselves as I eat this delicious sandwich?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
I'll go first since I ain't got too much going on. But, hey, it's Kuuppon here, your gaming diva, the struggle diva, all that good stuff. Haven't really gotten a chance to do much this week, unfortunately. It's been busy, moving into a new place, all that good stuff. So, hopefully we get some more production value out of the new place because, golly, it's small here and we struggling. But we moving up, fam. We moving up.
That's what's up. What is up, everybody? It is your girl, Nia, the video game her, and I'm kind of in the same boat as Kuuppon. I've been working a whole lot this week. Like I told you guys last week, I took up a lot of extra shifts at my job, so I haven't really had a chance to do a whole lot of gaming because I've been just kind of sleep and then work and then sleep and then work. But I have been catching up on my comics backlogs, and if you guys are following me on Twitter and you're interested in comics, you guys can kind of see what I've been reading and kind of what I've been saying about what I've been reading. But as far as like games and stuff, I had a little bit of an opportunity to play some games the other day. Just trying to go through my gaming backlog. So I'm still playing through Metro. Right now I'm playing Metro 2033. So when I finish that, I'm gonna do Last Light, and I played a little bit of Dirty Bomb. So not a whole lot of gaming, just a little bit, mostly comics though. It's pretty much what I've been up to. Alex.
I gotta put this damn sandwich down.
He's still eating the sandwich. I knew it.
It's so good.
I know, he sound like he is going in too. Like,
Okay, so, what have I been playing? I've been playing, Telltale's Batman. That's a really good game, actually. So I just beat that game. I think I'll play Quantum Break next. Because I got a bunch of stuff off the Steam sale, but I think that's done now. But a lot of games to catch up on now.
It's still up. It's still up now.
Well, I'm on it now. There doesn't seem to be that many games on sale.
Oh, maybe it's over now. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it finished today. Well, there's some games on sale, but it doesn't look the same. But yeah, like, Steam sale was amazing. Got some good stuff there. But yeah, Batman, great game, Telltale Games. It's right up there with Walking Dead, I feel. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's about it. Let's start getting into the news. We got a lot of topics to talk about today, and we'll start with Splatoon. Splatoon 2, Nintendo has announced there is a Splatoon 2 Direct tomorrow. It'll be at 10 a.m. Eastern, so that's 7 a.m. for me, 9 a.m. for you two. Should be fun. 25 minutes long, and yeah, it's gonna be all about Splatoon. What are you guys expecting from this show?
What am I expecting from Splatoon? Kuuppon, you want to go first, or how you want to do it?
I don't mind. Me personally, what I'm expecting is just maybe some finished, maybe another game mode, maybe some small information about stuff that we already know, and just kind of update us on, online and some other things. Nothing too big. I don't think there's really much more they can do unless they just held the super secret stuff for this. But
I don't know about that.
I mean, I don't see anything else they could actually tell us about. I mean, maybe another test fire might be on the horizon before they launch it or something. I don't know. But other than that, I mean, I'm not really expecting too much big news. Nothing big. I'll probably stream it, so y'all can more than welcome come and hit me up on that if all goes well tomorrow. So yeah, I'll probably be doing a live stream of that. You'll see a baby on my lap possibly.
Maybe we can stream together because I'll be free.
Okay, cool. And there'll be a baby in the stream, so just deal with it.
Yeah, I'll be streaming it as well because that's before I go to work anyways.
Oh, so you won't be at work tomorrow, so we could probably stream it together.
No, I'll be at work, but it's at 7 in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
So I will have time.
Cool.
Yeah. What I think they're probably going to talk about tomorrow is, I think they're probably going to actually talk about like some of the battle or like what do you call those? Do you call them battle modes?
I guess battle. I call them.
Yeah,
battle
I call
modes.
them battle modes.
Are they battle modes like the tower control and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Because I don't think that they've actually talked about that stuff yet. Like when, yeah, like in the previous Splatoon direct, and then the directs where they had some little bit of information about Splatoon. They talked about the weapons, they talked about the specials. You know, they showed that you can have like different hairstyles now, and you can actually have pants now.
Oh damn!
And they talked a little bit about Salmon Run, so I don't really think they're gonna talk about Salmon Run anymore. I think they probably said all that they can say about Salmon Run. So
Yeah.
the only thing I think that they could probably talk about is the actual, like the battle modes and like the like maybe some different stages, maybe like new stages they might talk about. I don't know. I think a lot of it is probably gonna be like repeat, and then that additional new stuff that I just kind of mentioned there. I don't really think we're gonna be hearing too much new stuff because I mean the game literally comes out like what, next week.
Get everybody mad at your fan.
I told y'all in the beginning that fan is staying on. Deal with it.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Okay,
Yeah,
so...
that's what I think they're gonna do.
Okay, again with this voices thing, they still claim they can't hear you, even though the maximum volume is on for you guys. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna turn mine down, perhaps, and then maybe that'll be better. But yeah, for what I think is happening, they're gonna show that headset. They're gonna show how we use it.
No, they're not.
They're gonna show it.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
They're
I
gonna.
don't know. They might. That might be the positive.
They're gonna try and quell the anger of this headset.
Oh
And
my
they're
God.
gonna show us how the voice chat works. Maybe they're gonna show us how the matchmaking works. We will probably see Rainmaker and all those other modes. They might just glance over the Horde mode or Salmon mode, whatever it is. But I don't expect too much of that. I think it's going to be a lot of multiplayer focus for this.
You think so?
Yeah, and maybe at the end they'll announce another. What do they call it?
Like the tournament thing.
The Splatfest?
Splatfest. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
The trial or whatever, just to get people hyped.
They might try to push a little bit.
Oh, the test fire.
Yeah, test
test
fire. That's
fire.
what I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
the
Test
test
fire.
fire.
So maybe they'll talk about the test fire a little bit. That I don't expect too much. Like we already know what to expect from Splatoon. It's the second entry, so we know there's gonna be more weapons, more clothes, maybe more modes. But I think they're gonna talk about the online features. I think they're gonna talk about that headset.
Maybe we get to play as Octoling. Maybe we get to play as Octoling.
It's 25 minutes long.
Here's my thing.
Not a lot. You can really do in 25 minutes.
Here's my thing about the headsets though. Like there was so much pushback. Dude.
That's
like,
why.
there was
Don't
so much
you
pushback. I think they're
remember
gonna
how much
avoid it.
pushback there was with Federation Force and how they just kept coming at you full force with it?
I think they learned, man. I don't think they're gonna do it.
We'll see. We will see.
I don't
All right,
think
you guys. You heard it here. So here's the bet: is they gonna try to push the headsets on us, or that's not gonna be the focus?
I say avoid it. I say they're gonna avoid it. Alex says that they're gonna.
This is a play-by-play of what's gonna happen. You're gonna see a pool of ink in the middle of an empty stage. Reggie is gonna come out of the ink wearing the headset and.
Oh my God.
And he's gonna say, Splatoon 2 headset, a revelation. Innovation. And then he's gonna go back into the ink, and that's it. That's all they're gonna talk about. It's gonna be amazing.
Please don't let that be a
But it should be a good direct. Because lately their directs have been on point. Especially the ones focused on a single game, so I'm expecting a good show. And again, 25 minutes, that's actually as long as their E3 presentation.
That's true.
And they won E3, so it should be a damn good show.
I have one gripe about Salmon Run that I just found out not too long ago. Salmon Run is actually going to be a timed event. It's not going to be something you can do all the time.
Oh.
God, Nintendo, fuck your life.
Oh,
not mine,
it's
but
like
yours.
it's like a Splatfest.
It operates like a Splatfest versus an event.
Oh, that's kind of lame.
So that's whack. I hope that they have some.
I thought it was a mode.
I know, because I want more cooperative stuff in Splatoon.
Yeah.
I really wish they would get rid of the whole
Well, I like the
I like the
Splatfest thing.
Yeah,
but the other,
Splatfest, I like
the
that.
Splatfest, but like for the stages and stuff and timed anything else, no.
Oh
Stop.
yeah, they'll probably talk about how the rotation of the maps are gonna be this time around,
Yeah,
all
'cause
that shit.
they're not 4 hours long or something.
I guess
or how-
I think it's
They're
2 hours now.
which
Yeah.
they should just get rid of it altogether and let everybody pick which stage they want
And then
to go to.
randomize it, but
Randomizer.
whatever.
Yeah. You know, whatever.
But yeah, that should be about it. A lot of multiplayer, so I don't think they're gonna talk about the single player because they already had a trailer for it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's tomorrow morning. We'll all be watching, and 25 minutes. Yeah, they're gonna sell you on Splatoon 2, probably. All right, so let's go on to those headsets are the real deal, guys. Trust me.
Oh,
All right, let's move on. They're gonna do it. Trust me. All right, so next one up, Hollow Knight, which is an indie game that's on the Switch, PC, Xbox, PS4. I think it's even on the Wii U. I can't remember. Or maybe they canceled that one. Probably.
No, they canceled it for the Wii U.
Hilarious! Okay, so that apparently this game is going to get a physical version, and the Switch will actually get a physical version as well. So that's pretty cool. I thought I'd just kind of talk about that, because this is a good game. If you like Metroidvania-style games, then Hollow Knight's a good game. I've played a couple hours so far, but I have not finished it. But, yeah, it was like 30-40% off on the Steam sale.
yeah.
Definitely worth a pickup. But yeah, physical release. Hopefully the Switch version isn't $10 more than the other versions. We'll see.
I think that people are starting to calm down on that because you're not hearing that anymore. Now that
Yeah.
everybody's not having it, you know.
Yeah. Good little game. Good little game.
What do you guys think about Hollow Knight getting physical version? I like these indie
It's
games
good.
getting it.
I would like to get it. I wouldn't mind it, but I mean, I already have it on Steam, so it's kind of like.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to double it. We'll see.
I feel like with a lot of games, like it's good to have a physical release as well as a digital release because especially if you're like an indie developer, it kind of gives more exposure to your game when people can see it on the shelf next to games like Zelda.
Yep.
And games like Mario Kart, they're like, oh shoot, there's this other cool little game called Hollow Knight. Like maybe I should check that out because you know how people are. Like,
especially on the Switch when there's such like a limited amount of games on the shelves.
Exactly, and I feel like a lot of people, when they like general gamers, not people like us that like go through the video shops and all that stuff, look for gems and stuff. But like generally, like just regular everyday gamers, if they see something that's on the shelf, they feel like it's more important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they feel like, oh, this must actually be like a legit game because it has a physical component as well. So I feel like for indie developers, if you have the means to get your game physical, you should probably do it to give your game more exposure. That's all I can really say about that. I don't know if I would pick it up. Maybe if it was on like sale or something, but I don't know if I would pick it up. But lots of people would, I think, to give it a try.
Yeah, I think it's good. More exposure. Obviously, when you look at this game on the shelf on Xbox and PS4, it's going to get lost because there's just so much other stuff out there, more high-profile games, because they have so much third-party games on those consoles. But on the Switch, if you go to a store now and you look at the wall for the Switch games, it's pretty much like Zelda, Mario Kart, ARMS, and then some pre-orders for Splatoon, and then, like, that's it. There's like a couple other games, so like having your game up there alongside those is really good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it shows that your game like stacks up. So I think it's smart that they're doing this, and it's good they're actually bringing it to the Switch as well. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good look for them.
Mr. Retro is in the chat now. You can't figure out how to handle links apparently, so I will try to send you this again, but yeah. Why can't you see this? I don't understand. There he is. Alright, so just give me one second here, people. We have a straggler.
That was so much disdain. We have a straggler.
A straggler. Okay, Retro. You can connect and you can speak. Alright, so click that original link I gave you, Retro, and you should be able to join. Otherwise, I will give you a brand new one. And There you go. It's on Twitter. So click that one and jump in because we're going to continue. So next up is something I found to be really cool. Shantae and Shovel Knight are going to be joining Blaster Master Zero as DLC.
Cool.
I would click this video, but I'm scared it's going to go to Nintendo's channel and they will copyright me. So I'm not going to click that. So it goes live on actually July 6th, so tomorrow. So if you've bought Blaster Master Zero, which is a cool game, it's like kind of like a second version of an old NES game. It doesn't seem to be free. It'll be $2, which is not too bad, I guess.
Not too bad.
Yeah. So it says version 1.3 of Blaster Master Zero will go live on July 6th, at which point the Shantae character DLC will be available on the Switch and 3DS. Shovel Knight will hit eShop on August 3rd. Also, they're not at the same time. So Shantae is tomorrow, Shovel Knight's in August. Characters like Gunvolt and Akoro before them will be available for free for the first 2 weeks. After they release, the free download period are over. Oh, cool. So it's free for 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, otherwise if you want to slack and be lazy, you gotta spend that extra $2. I like this. I love when these indie characters get put into other games.
I love it. And just based on the thumbnail, I love Shantae's little design for this. It's so cute.
She's adorable. I saw the video.
She looks good in this.
Transforms into things and stuff.
I know, it's so cute. I saw her when she was like a little monkey. It's like, oh, this is so cute.
Shovel Knight look awesome. He's beating
I know, I love Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight's the best. Like, he is like opened the world of indie games, I feel.
I think he has.
His character is everywhere. He's essentially like the Mario of indie characters because he's going everywhere.
He's like everywhere.
Which is
like
cool.
Everybody loves Shovel Knight. Like, that's what's up, though.
Yeah.
Like, they got a hit, man. That's good.
Yeah, and these are like my two favorite indie characters. Shovel Knight and Shantae come into Blaster Master, which is a fun game, so I thought this was just something cool to talk about. I hope they do more stuff like this, more indie characters come over, join the game. This cross-promotion thing is just awesome.
Yeah,
I
love when indie cross-promote. I think that's awesome.
What would be smart, though, is like, let's say you got Blaster Master and you get Shovel Knight, and then you get like 20% off if you buy Shovel Knight because you have Blaster Master.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, or like.
There's a company that's doing that, isn't it? That's doing something like that.
Is there?
Or did something like that. I can't remember who did it.
Because that would be really smart. Because like once they realize what your character is and they like your character, oh, I'm gonna check out his game. Oh, I get a discount because I supported you. Oh, very cool.
That's what's up.
They should do stuff like that. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. We don't know. Yeah. But this is cool, and I like Shantae's new design, and Shovel Knight looks freaking badass as well.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it would actually make people actually want to buy the games because both Shantae and Shovel Knight they both have games on the eShop right now.
They do. Yep.
So that's awesome.
They're all working together.
I think it's awesome.
Okay, let's go.
Who's here?
Is he still muted?
He's here.
I see him.
I heard him.
Oh, there he is. Okay, whatever. On to. Are you gonna introduce yourself, or are we just gonna keep going?
Freaking retro.
Unbelievable. We're gonna keep going. So next one is you guys are gonna love this in the chat because you guys love F-Zero so much for some reason. But former Nintendo dev says F-Zero GX was really expensive for Nintendo. So it says here, are there any series from Nintendo that you would like to work on? This is from a Source Gaming interview with a former Nintendo dev. He said, how about a Star Fox? And the guy responded, no, F-Zero would be an interesting one. I don't think it would ever happen because the expectations from these old school games are so high now. The last F-Zero game, F-Zero GX on the GameCube, and that was really expensive. It has to be bigger, it has to be better than F-Zero GX, and that would be a huge risk for them. Having said that, I really like the original F-Zero, and blah blah blah. He starts talking about how he loves F-Zero, but nobody cares. So F-Zero GX apparently was a very expensive game for Nintendo, and obviously, as F-Zero always does, it bombed, and it didn't make any money for them, clearly. So what do you guys think about this? Are you ever gonna see F-Zero again?
See F-Zero again. And that's essentially what it sounds like. You're just not gonna see another F-Zero because if there's not enough people behind it to support it and for them to make to see the numbers and to see that character be brought back into the limelight, then they're not gonna waste their time, money, and energy making it. And so F-Zero has officially been put to rest, laid to rest. So I think we need a funeral for old Captain Falcon and his crew. His game will never be seen. Maybe
Oh.
you'll see him in Mario Kart.
And I bring this up every time we talk about F-Zero, but fun fact, Captain Falcon has been in more Smash Brothers games than F-Zero games.
Right? And he's, oh my god, I don't know. I just don't see I don't see an F-Zero. Maybe that might be, it would be interesting if like F-Zero did pop up out of nowhere. If they're just like, hey, we got an F-Zero game for you. But with this little interview and the fact that it was expensive back in the day and the high expectations, because let's be honest, there's pretty high expectations for people who want to see an F-Zero.
At this point, they might as well get the Fast Racing Neo guys to just make an F-Zero game for them.
They really should do that. I think that would be smart, very smart.
Yeah. You know what I think, to be honest? I think that it would probably be a stretch to get another F-Zero because it's been dormant for so long. The only inkling of hope that I could give people out there who like F-Zero is the fact that even though F-Zero is a game that we haven't seen in a while, Captain Falcon is still a very beloved character in general amongst the community.
Yeah, because it's Smash.
I think that, and we kind of talked about this. I'm trying to get my thoughts together, sorry. We kind of talked about this on previous episodes of Team Nerd, where we talked about how in the first year, Nintendo's pretty much blowing their load. Like, you know, we got a major Zelda, major Mario, we got a mainline Pikmin coming, Metroid is coming. So they're going to have to either keep picking up new IPs like they've been doing with Splatoon and ARMS, or they're going to have to go back in the vault. And that's the only thing that I can say is, like, they're going to have to do something. Either make new stuff or go back in the vault. And if they go back in the vault, I think there's a high possibility that we could see some games like F-Zero.
I'm just gonna put this out here into the universe. I know this is not a popular opinion, but fuck F-Zero. We already have Fast Racing Neo, and the Switch is getting Wipeout. So I would rather Nintendo make new games like ARMS and like Splatoon. I would rather have that than another racing game where you have two of them on your console already. Like, who cares?
I mean, I can see that, but at the same time, like, one thing that those games don't have is they don't have, like...
Oh, Redout. I meant Redout. My bad.
You know what I mean? So it's like...
They don't have,
that's kind of the difference. Because, like...
He's more iconic for Smash Brothers.
True.
But what I'm saying, I don't know. I can't speak for Kuuppon, but what I'm saying is that while it's true that they are like futuristic racing games, the same line as F-Zero. F-Zero has more characterization because they have actual racers. You know what I mean? Whereas in like Fast Racing Neo, we just have a car.
Yeah, there's no personality to it.
And that's a lot of the reason why, like, because, you know, I have friends that, you know, they have very fond memories of F-Zero. And the reason why is because it's more than just cars. You know, you have these characters that interact with one another. And with the game, that kind of sets it apart from just like a Wipeout or Fast Racing.
But I often wonder, like, does anybody really play any of these, like, racing games to that extent? Like, I know there's people out there that play them, but, like, are they really popular? Like, even Forza and all this stuff, like, all these other games, like, I mean, it's like, but racing games isn't, like, as popular as they used to be back in the day. So, I don't know. So, my question to most people is, do you really want F-Zero that bad? And if you do, like, maybe,
I'm sure, like, you'll probably get one eventually.
I mean, sure. It seems like it would come. It seems like it's a possibility.
I'm just saying it's unnecessary. That's all.
But yeah, I'm saying you're saying.
I see what you're saying, but considering that Nintendo is kind of on this whole new joint, I could really see them go back in.
They could possibly go back into the vault and pull him out, but it's like he's you know, like Captain Falcon is like he's Smash Brothers now. And so,
he's in a weird
situation right now. He's Smash Brothers. People know Captain Falcon from Smash Brothers, not They know he's from F-Zero, but they know him more.
Do they though?
For that.
If Nintendo were smart, this is what they would do. They would completely make a whole like spin-off game of F-Zero where there's like there's F-Zero style racing. And then there's segments when Captain Falcon is like kind of like a beat 'em up kind of.
Yeah, like Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon should have a beat 'em up game, and you just go. It's like Streets of Rage, but with Captain Falcon. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
like
Kind
you
of
could
like
have,
Go ahead, Kuuppon.
like you said with the whole streets racing, like you have him racing in certain areas of the game and whatnot because that's just generally what it
Yeah.
is. But then him and his crew don't have to always be in their cars. They can
It'll be cool.
running on the
That would be
street, doing what they gotta do.
They can make
They
like
have-
a GTA style game, and you star as
Yeah.
Captain Falcon, and then like most of the objective are driving based. But then other
It
than
could
that,
be-
you just run around, just beat people up.
yeah,
It could
you
be
know?
I feel like there's a game like this, or maybe I'm thinking like movies. You know,
I
like how
think-
some movies like are high
Yeah.
action movies, and some of it is like you're street racing, and then some of it,
Yeah, I agree.
Fast and Furious, but with F
Yeah,
Zero.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
There you go. Just incorporate
Like,
Fast
that
and
would
Furious
be
to
really
F-Zero. There you
dope.
go.
Like if Nintendo
Like,
was smart, I think
just
that would be the best. way
Break
to
the
go with
mold.
F-Zero.
Like, look what they did
Yeah.
with what they did with Zelda by changing the formula.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
don't have to have F-Zero to just be racing. We get it; it is part of what it is. But like, is it really?
That
the
doesn't have to be
end
all
all
it is
be all?
though. Like
Yeah,
they
it's
can.
like and
if-
give us customization for the cars and the characters. and
Because
other
like
things
if the
as well,
characters are what people really say is so amazing about F-Zero, then like
then
expand on that
Incorporate
area.
that
expand on
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Like that
definitely.
could be the campaign. Like what we're talking about right now could be the campaign, and then there could be like some Grand Prix mode where you just straight up racing. Like, that
Right.
would be
Yeah.
dope, I
But-
think.
Anyways, let's get out of the C tier franchise. Let's move on.
Oh my god.
Retro, are you actually gonna speak or what?
Every Nintendo
Does he even know that he's muted? He
He's
might
not
be
muted. He's
on-
unmuted. I don't know what he's doing.
Does
Whatever.
He might have a verified account, because sometimes when you don't have a verified account, it says weird.
But I gave him access to this room.
But he has to activate it on his own if he hasn't. Like he might have to go and do the.
Why is Discord so hard for people?
I don't understand. You just click a button and you're in here.
Fucking toe dipper. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Japanese game industry sees sizable boost for first 6 months of 2017 thanks to the Nintendo Switch. So, there's a lot of numbers here, so we're gonna read these numbers, so bear with me. Domestic market for video game hardware and software combined for the first half of 2017 reached $1.35 billion. Hardware sales is 76.5 billion yen, which is a 44% increase. That's the Switch, baby. Software sales up to 76.69 billion yen. That's actually down 4.6%. That's pretty crazy. And so overall, it's a 153.2 billion yen. That's an overall increase of 14.8%. This is the first increase in 3 years in Japan's console market, which considering the first 6 months of the year. So that's crazy, and that's all due to the Switch, because obviously in the last 3 years, we've had the PlayStation, we've had the Xbox, and we all know that the Xbox barely scrapes 200 a week in Japan. But even with
There's
the
like 30
PlayStation,
people in Japan with a freaking Xbox.
right? I feel bad for them.
That's crazy.
But the Switch has really struck a chord with Japanese gamers, as we all predicted it would, because this is right up their alley. But this console alone is rejuvenating Japan's love of console gaming. Apparently, first increase in 3 years is very impressive.
That's crazy.
And then they talk about some hardware sales. So Nintendo Switch, just over 1 million units sold in the first 6 months of 2017. That is nuts.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4, it sold 877,000 in the first 6 months. They're at a total of 4.8 million. DS is at 22 million. Vita's at 5 million. That's the only place the Vita sells, apparently. And oh my god, Xbox One total sales from 2013, 78,000.
Wow.
78,000
Since 2013.
since 2013. Or maybe
That's
that's
actually
just
more than
maybe
I
that's
thought.
just yeah 5,000 in 6 months. But the total is 78,000. That is unreal.
Way more than I thought.
That's pretty bad. But software rankings for first 6 months, Monster Hunter XX, you know that game that's not coming over to North America, but the 3DS version, has sold 1.6 million. God damn. Pokemon Sun and Moon, 527,000, Mario Kart 500,000, Zelda 460,000. That's actually a lot for Zelda. Japan doesn't usually buy Zelda.
I know, right? That's crazy.
Mario Maker almost 400,000, and then some other games. But yeah, pretty good. Like big jump for Nintendo in Japan for the Switch. Like they clearly like it, and more than anywhere, Japan is having shortages more than any other area. So like Nintendo actually came out and apologized to Japan specifically because of the lack of stock. So they're doing good. They're doing great. Sony's doing great there too, which is nice to see. And just one guy can't crack it over there, but they'll figure it out one day maybe.
Sony are always gonna do well in their home country.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget that Sony is also Japanese, so they rock with them over there as well.
What was this chat talking about?
I mean, the Nintendo Switch does the best of both things. It's a good portable console. It's a decent console to hook up to your TV if you want to play games on your TV. I mean, it's really one of the most well-rounded consoles, I think, on the market right now. To be honest, it's kind of like it suits everybody's needs at the moment. So,
yeah, definitely. Like, I can't see how anyone can sit here and tell me they can't find a situation where they can enjoy the Switch.
Yeah.
Based on how you can use it. Like, for example, the 3DS, I don't like the 3DS because you can't play it at home on the TV. But like the Switch you can, and then you can also take it at home and have local co-op, which I think is still the coolest shit ever. But yeah, Japan. So good to see. I'm happy. So let's move on. This Retro, you like to say something, Retro?
Are you available? He tried to get on again, but
man, I'm just looking at these Steam sales. I got time for Japan. All right, Retro, good job. Let's go on to the next one. Platinum Games, their official Twitter has sent out a picture of Bayonetta in Bayonetta 2 form and original Bayonetta with a blue and red background, which is leading people to believe they are teasing Bayonetta for the Nintendo Switch. I believe we will let Kuuppon take the floor.
That's all I have to say. Once we get 1 and 2, we are guaranteed 3 because obviously 3 has to be. But yeah, this is good. This is nice. The whole red-blue scheme thing is kind of in conjunction with the red-blue for the controllers, the Joy-Cons and whatnot. So
oh my God, Kuuppon!
You didn't pick up on that.
Holy crap! I didn't even.
You didn't notice that.
You didn't notice that?
Like this is my first time seeing this picture today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But,
yeah, that's why.
You're a genius.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, the red, blue.
Yeah, that's why people are making the
controllers.
assumption it's coming to the Switch, because it's the colors of the Joy-Cons.
Oh my God.
Yep. So that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
That looks like a thing. Looks like a thing.
So,
and I mean, with Platinum, they've been doing great lately with like bringing back a lot of their old school games and stuff to like PC. So now they're doing Switch now. So hey.
Let me put it to you this way. Bayonetta 2 is too good of a game to die on the Wii U.
Oh my
so
God.
they bringing this back to the Switch would be amazing. And they could do it right this time because they have stronger hardware. So 1080p's locked 60 FPS this time, not whatever the Wii U was running. That game would be fantastic on the go. This is one of the games I've been asking for.
Right now, so
but that's from Sega Team directly, not Platinum, so we don't have to worry about that. Because Platinum are competent devs, unlike Sega.
Yeah.
So this game on the go would be fantastic. You could probably even link up local and do the online mode, which would be cool. This is one of the games I was asking for to be ported over to the Switch because I love Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2.
A lot of people missed out on it too,
and
as well.
As it is being on the Wii U, a terrible console, a lot of people missed out on Bayonetta 2, which is very unfortunate because it is one of the best games to ever be created. Yeah. So it coming to the Switch would be fantastic. So I hope this is true.
Now let me ask y'all this: do y'all think Bayonetta 3 is coming to the Switch, or do y'all think it's going to be a port of 1 and 2?
I think it's 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Because that would be faster.
Yeah.
A 3 will eventually come.
I'm pretty sure 3 will come, but not.
But they're doing the Mario Kart thing. Like, it's a good game that a lot of people didn't get to play, so they're gonna port it over. to a console people
So-
care about. So I hope that's real. I really, really hope that's real, and that happens. Hopefully soon. It'll probably be a 2018 game, but
Well, you know,
either way, I'm happy.
I know that Sega is the one who made this possible, but we did get Bayonetta 1 and we did get Vanquish on Steam
We did.
because a lot of people wanted it, so they might be bringing Bayonetta 1 and 2 to, you know.
Hey, if it goes to
You know
Steam,
they're
I'll be
full
happy
coverage.
there too.
No, I'm talking about they might just be bringing it in general because Sega's already been doing this thing, bringing all these games back, and since they co-published Bayonetta 2,
Yeah.
it's possible that they maybe talk to Nintendo about maybe getting it put over to the Switch or maybe all consoles or Steam or wherever it goes.
Well, let's just be real here. At this point, I think Nintendo will take any game on the Switch. So if they went to Nintendo and say we want to put Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Switch, I don't see why they'd say no.
Yeah, they're gonna be bringing over freaking Smash Brothers anyway. She's on there, so they kind of have.
Gotta sell those amiibos.
She's the new queen. She's the new queen of Nintendo now, y'all.
Damn
so
straight. Fuck
Get
Peach.
ready to keep her around for a while.
Peach ain't shit. And as far as Bayonetta 3 is concerned, I have a very hard time believing that Nintendo is going to allow that game to be multi-plat.
Really?
I really
Because
don't
it's
think
Nintendo,
she's going to.
I'm on the fence with that. I think they might slip. I think they might slip up on something, and it might go third party. But I mean, it might go multi-plat. But at the same time, if they're smart and and the fact that she's in Smash, there should be no reason that she goes outside.
Now I'm gonna be very clear about this because people always misconstrued what I'm saying. If it is multi-plat, I don't care because I can play it wherever because I don't just play on one device. But being an exclusive would be a major win for the Switch.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I'm on the same page as you.
It don't matter where it is. I'm totally gonna get it.
We're not like those fake ass Bayonetta fans who wouldn't buy it on the Wii U.
On the Wii U, yeah. You know, we actually bought it on the Wii U because.
Oh shoot!
What? I mean, they were flipping out. Oh, I'm not gonna get it if it's on the Wii U. Oh, okay, then don't get it. But here's your opportunity to get it again. And if it's still a Nintendo exclusive, and you still screaming about how you don't want to deal with Nintendo things, and the Switch is doing great, then hey, that's your problem, not mine.
Whoa. Rosalina is not the queen of Nintendo.
Rosalina?
That is Bayonetta.
Rosalina is the princess, the real princess of, like, you know, Nintendo, but the queen status, diva status is Miss Thing here,
That's right.
Miss Bayonetta. So.
And let's get Retro's vital intake on all of this.
Retro.
So Retro, you know we can't move on to the next topic without you. So what do you feel about Bayonetta coming over to the Switch potentially? Man, I'm just looking at all these Steam sales, man. I just want to get it on Steam, man. All right, Retro, calm down. All about them Steam sales.
Retro, check your settings and see if you have yourself unmuted and make sure it.
I don't know why he's in the damn group now.
Yeah, he's in the thing.
I see him there.
Go to your settings, go to voice, and make sure it has your headphones or whatever you're using connected to your device.
Because
make sure you set that inputs in.
I gave him voice permissions. I gave him connect permissions. He should
make sure it's not push to talk. Make sure you have it voice activity and not push to talk. Because if it's push to talk, that's why we can't hear you. You have to push a button first.
Because didn't he make a noise earlier?
I heard him do something, but
I'm pretty sure I heard him go Steam earlier. But that was just me. But let's move on. Unless you guys want to talk some more about Bayonetta, I'm always up to talk about Bayonetta. All right. Well, Retro, I'm gonna assume you agree with us. So let's move on to Phil Harrison, who is this man in the picture. I don't know who he is, but apparently he is a former Sony and Microsoft executive. Game executive, and he says the Switch can play to a wider audience than the PS4 and Xbox One. Here's what his quote actually says: I think Sony have done a great job in making the PlayStation 4 a very popular all around the world. What I wonder about, and maybe a worry a little bit, is are both Microsoft and Sony growing the market? Are they building and investing in content that broadening the experience to bring in more players? It looks like to me, from their public announcement at least, that they are increasing the same kind of core hardcore gamer, whereas Nintendo Switch has the opportunity to play it to a wider audience. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the market dynamics play out over the next 3 or 4 years of this console cycle. He has an interesting take on what's going on. I actually do agree with him. The Switch reaches a much wider audience than the PlayStation and Xbox can ever hope to reach because of the nature of it being portable. They can reach the 3DS audience, they can reach the cell phone audience, they can reach the tablet audience. That's something that the PlayStation and the Xbox just can't do. So he's not wrong. Obviously PlayStation's doing incredible this generation, Xbox is still doing good. But like the Switch, its potential is virtually limitless because it can reach.
When you think about it,
go.
And when you think about it, the Xbox and PlayStation communities are kind of sharing amongst each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas like the Nintendo Switch, it kind of has. I know a lot of people have been saying this. I sort of agree with it, but sort of kind of not. But it kind of has that.
There he is.
There he goes.
That didn't take forever.
It kind of has like that Wii appeal where it's not intimidating to approach if you were a person who's not really like a gamer like that. So I feel like the Nintendo Switch, it kind of has that, like you said, it kind of reaches the tablet market, the console people. They see this cute little device with a screen on it, and they want to know what it is and what it can do. You know.
It's not intimidating. I think it's more of a. It's not so intimidating as the Xbox One and the PS4 is, with the whole hardcore, gamer kind of moniker behind it, where you got to play all these big, monolithic titles and stuff. And whereas the Switch has, pretty entry level games, stuff that are not super easy, but they're not super hard. They're both kid friendly and good for adults, and all around, just about anybody can kind of just jump into gaming. And I think with the Switch, so it's like kind of entry level for a lot of people who are curious about gaming but aren't like hardcore into it, but would love to like definitely check it out. But like, you try to get a PS4, you don't know what's going on, you got all these hardcore games, there's really nothing for the younger crowd technically, and the older crowd, they're just like kind of tired and drained on the same old. So like with the Switch, you have a lot of variety of different things, both hardcore and some pretty entry level games and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of probably what he was getting at, as far as like having an all around type of feel for the audience and stuff.
Right, because imagine walking into a store and seeing, like, say, the Xbox One X, and like the game on the screen is Anthem, versus seeing like a game on the Switch on a separate kiosk with Mario Kart. Which one is gonna have the most overall draw? You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
especially for an entry level gamer. Someone
for an entry level gamer. Right.
Like your average kind of like Joe Schmo or whatever, who never really picked up a video game for the most part. They probably dabbled in it here and there. They're not looking for a big game like Anthem to kind of get into gaming. They're looking for something
that game takes your life.
Yeah, that's gonna take your life away. That's gonna take a lot of understanding about the mechanics of gaming in general and all this other stuff. Whereas Mario Kart, you can pick it up and just pick up and go and play and get, hang out with some friends and play with them, and then you start getting interested in other games from there, and you can build on your, knowledge of gaming from there. So like, I think that's how the Switch can be very beneficial for like a wider audience, as opposed to just, hey, here's some Anthem, play. Alrighty. Yeah, so that's all I feel about that.
Since we have a short little break, since nobody's really talking, what else, Kuuppon?
Sorry, I'm just talking in the chat here.
I take some time out to do some shout outs in the chat. So shout outs to the 27 people who are watching us right now. Shout out to Ruby Sakurai. Shout out to MCL Gaming. Shout out to Tony Kaname Kyoron. Shout out to Jay Johnston. Shout out to One White Kong. Shout out to Phantom One Op. Thanks everybody who is in the chat right now rocking with us. Matthew Pipes. Guys, make sure you share and like this video. We got 28 people watching right now, but we only got 6 likes. We gotta get these likes up, Sean. That gets the viewership up. So go ahead and get them likes up. Get them up.
Sorry, I finally got everything fixed.
Holy fuck.
So apparently, get this. I had to read a bunch of tutorials, and because my mic has a push, I'm explaining that now. Can I explain it? Okay, so basically, because my mic has a push-to-talk feature, Discord automatically makes me default to push-to-talk. So the other talk activity feature, it doesn't allow me to use it. So I had to set the key bindings and stuff to push-to-talk, and it wouldn't let me use the other.
Get some better shit. All right, so let's move on.
I have zero problems on Skype or Hangouts with that. Like, I did not know that was going to be a game. But I would have to say I kind of agree with what Kuuppon said recently, because I'll admit, like, if you're really busy, it's hard to get into really strenuous, long games. Like,
yes,
I'm a big RPG gamer. It's my bread and butter. But I still have not beat Tales of Assyria yet, and that's, like, my favorite franchise as far as RPGs, just because of my work schedule. So I can totally understand if you're really busy, just wanting something you can pick up and play.
Yeah, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, the older you get, the more responsibilities you have, the less time you have to sit down for hours on end playing games. Which is where I think the Switch hits a chord with a lot of older gamers.
Yep.
Which is smart of Nintendo to target these gamers. They're like, hey, we know you used to play with us and you grew up with us, but you have more stuff to do now. You have a dog, you take your shit on the airplane, you gotta be like Karen and have parties on rooftops. So, like, we know it's hard to carry around your 60-inch 4K TV and your Xbox One X. So how about you take this Switch with you and be the life of the party? Okay, so I forgot about this topic earlier, but I just found the article now because it actually happened today. Fire Emblem Warriors actually had a new trailer today, and there's new characters. The Fire Emblem Awakening characters.
Right, don't tell me!
No. He's not in that game. But Chrom is there, and who else? Lucina, I believe, was added as well.
She hates Lucina. You know she hates Lucina.
I'm just listing the characters. Don't kill the messenger. Okay. So it seems like what is it? The axe wielder Lissa and Robin will make an appearance. Robin, the guy with the book, the magic book.
Robin.
Yeah, so Chrom, Lucina, I don't see anybody else. Maybe Marth. And his name is Lucina!
Lucina.
Your time is up, Lucina's here! Okay. Okay, unlike previous Fire Emblem games, this is real time, blah blah blah, and they're just explaining Fire Emblem. So, thoughts? You guys happy? You got some more Fire Emblem characters?
Chrom.
Chrom is my second baby daddy from Fire Emblem. So
F Chrom. I'm cool with Robin, that's cool, but F Chrom, I'm sorry, I'm still not getting this game until Ike shows up, period.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm waiting to see Ike. Like, that's the only Fire Emblem character I actually care about. So.
Ruined Fire Emblem.
Who ruined Fire Emblem? Oh, Awakening. He doesn't like Awakening.
Yeah, MCL said you ruined Fire Emblem with that.
Lucina got Chrom in the AA.
Yeah,
Lucina will soon be the 16-time champ. Face that runs the place. But
I'd love to see some Fire Emblem wrestling. That'd be interesting.
A Fire Emblem wrestling game would be fun. I'm still waiting for them to fix the problems I have with the game. Frame rate, graphics, Ike. Unless I get that, I'm just not interested. Nia, is this enough for you to get Fire Emblem Warriors?
I'm probably gonna get it anyway because I'm a Fire Emblem fan.
Alright, Kuuppon? I'm gonna assume yes. Alright, Retro, are you interested in Fire Emblem Warriors?
I like Fire Emblem, but frame rate is a big issue with me. Like, I don't think I can get past that. So I want to wait a little bit, see if they fix a couple of things first.
Yeah. They even have to patch Zelda, because Zelda, whoo!
Yeah.
Like, when you go to freaking Karak Forest, oh my boy.
Yeah, that shit was brutal. But that's mostly fixed now.
That's the funny thing, though. When I first started playing Zelda, it took me so long to get there that by the time I got there, like, I
They
had
had already
no
patched it.
issues.
Yeah, Korok Forest. The first time I went there, it was like chugging along so bad. I thought my Switch was actually freezing, but
Like, it was terrible.
but now it's noticeably better. So I guess we can move on from Fire Emblem. We'll probably get a direct for this sooner or later. Comes out what, in August or something?
No, it doesn't have a date yet.
What? I thought Fire Emblem Warriors like August or September.
I thought Fire Emblem and Xenoblade were the games that don't have dates yet.
Oh, okay. It just says here the fall. That's all.
Yeah.
Whatever. Give us a release date. Let's move on. So let's go on to one of the bigger topics, Rainway, which is an app that allows your PC to connect to your Switch, and you can kind of play games from there. One of the developers has been on Twitter. His name is Andrew Sampson, and he's making the app, and he's been showing gameplay from like on the Switch. So I'll show you this video here since we won't get a copy right for this. So as you can see here, this is Nier Automata. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Yeah, so, and it's running on the Switch, and there are other games as well, and you can see it's pretty smooth. There's no real issues here. I don't see any problems. And if you look in the top corner here, it is also running the exact same scene on the computer, because like you do stream it from your computer, and we'll get into that in a minute. But as you can see here, super bonus round Nier Automata gameplay on the Nintendo Switch via the Rainway app, which is something I didn't think was actually going to happen. I thought Nintendo would have shut this down by now, but they have not done so yet, so I'm still kind of amazed that this is real. What game is this? Some other game. Let's see what he's playing. I don't want to hear the sound. Go away. What game is this? I don't know what that is. Next one. So I'm working out some kinks, but here is Batman Arkham Knight running on the Nintendo Switch. I wish he wouldn't phrase it like that, because he is a lot of the reason why people are confused by this. And then he has here The Witcher 3. It says, again, Witcher 3 running on the Nintendo Switch. People are very confused by this. People that don't play PC or have never done streaming from PlayStation 4 to the Vita, and they don't really understand, because unfortunately a lot of people believe that these games are being played from the Nintendo Switch, but that is not the case. It is being displayed on the Nintendo Switch, but what is happening is it's being played through a PC. Like, the games are actually running on a computer, and they're using this Rainway app to allow it to stream to the Switch, which makes the Switch the display, and you can use the Joy-Cons as the controllers, or you can use the whatever PC controller you have as well. It says here, so the Switch browser is compliant with HTML5. You can override the native functions like zoom inside JavaScript. I don't know, techno mumbo jumbo. I don't understand what he's saying. But it says, interesting fact about the Switch hardware, it is capable of streaming 4K content at 60 FPS and 1080p at 120 FPS capped frame rates. So, if your computer can handle it, you can actually run a game at 4K in 60 FPS and stream it to your Switch and see the game in 720p. But if that's your jam. But that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of this Rainway app, but I'm just not a big fan of the misconception that people have that these games are magically running on the Switch itself. Because people believe that they're getting The Witcher 3, I guess, through the eShop. I'm not sure how they think they're getting these games. But what do you guys think about this Rainway app and the games on the Switch? Why don't you go first, Kuuppon?
Oh, well, I think it's an awesome idea for us to be able to stream a game from your PC to your Switch as a display and not actually play the game on the Switch itself. Like, it's not coming on the Switch, but the misleading you know, titles and things I've been seeing out there is kind of unfortunate because a lot of people are gonna assume you can go out and get you a Switch and you can play all these games using this app, and that's not the case. You definitely have to have a PC that can work most of those games for them to play as smoothly as you would hope for them to play. So you can't just be getting some old random potato PC thinking it's just gonna do great, and you know, nah.
Yeah.
You got to have a decent computer to
Yeah.
run those games, and in order to stream them to your Switch. But the concept behind it is definitely good. It's great that it's working. Great that it's useful. It's going up. I was right there with Alex. I thought that Nintendo would shut this thing down. I wasn't too hopeful, but I was trying to keep hope alive, you know. And so to see that it is a thing and that it's a possibility that it's coming to the Switch and whatnot, and that it's actually working, that's great. It's just people need to realize that it's not running on the Switch. It's just the Switch is a display, just like your, you know, TVs and stuff. It's a display, you know, that shows you the games that you have on your PC, so you can stream them from there. So just
Yeah.
don't get confused is all there is to that.
Yeah, that's pretty much well said. You know, you have to have a pretty decent computer that's capable of running these games, and you also have to have a decent internet connection because
Yeah. Yep.
my boyfriend and I, we actually have a Steam Link here that we use in the living room sometimes, and when our internet connection is crappy, the gameplay is crappy, but for the most part, it works fine. My only concerns for the Rainway app, while I do like the premise behind it, I don't like how there hasn't been an official confirmation by Nintendo.
Yep.
Because you know, if you've been gaming for a little while, you're familiar with the whole. You know, some people like to crack open these consoles and have things doing things that they don't really have permission to do so. It's kind of like a backhanded or back-ended way of doing things. And my concern is that this is not actually Nintendo approved, and it's kind of like a soft mod. If it's a soft mod, I have no interest, because I don't want to soft mod my Switch just to stream games. And if it's like an official app and it's actually been approved by Nintendo, then I'm all for it, because I got plenty of games on Steam I would love to play on my Switch at work, or you know, wherever I'm at that has internet. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But to those of you guys out there who thought that these games are actually running on the Switch, like what? Like, we've had the concept of streaming games is not new.
It's not new.
I think even the PlayStation 3 and the PSP did it. If I'm remembering correctly. So it's like, it's not a new concept. So, you know, and now it's becoming a little bit more commonplace. It's stuff like Steam Link, and then the PS4 and the Vita does it. And you can even do it from your Xbox to your Surface tablets and stuff like that. So it's not a new concept.
This is nothing new.
Where these people been living under a rock, I guess.
Yeah, I don't understand how people don't get that it's running off a computer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because the way this guy is wording stuff, the guy who's making the app, he should be a little more careful about how he says things. But like, still, even like the general gamer should understand this. Like,
and the concept of cloud gaming is not new. So it's like, I don't know.
Right.
Where do you live? I don't know. Whatever. Maybe they just don't hang out on the internet like we do. But when I heard that people were actually confused about this app, I'm like, how?
Yeah, because I didn't realize people were confused about this until I saw like Sean Long's video, RGT85 from Nintendo Enthusiasts. He made a video explaining this, and I was just like reading some of the comments, and people were like legitimately shocked you had to run the games off a computer. They thought you just got the games on the Switch through this app somehow, which I just don't understand. But it is what it is. Like, the games are running on the computer and they're being streamed to the Switch, which is awesome, which is very cool. Whether or not Nintendo is actually gonna finally give this the okay and we can download it in the eShop is a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
Because I'm still in the belief Nintendo will at the end reject this. Because
absolutely they're gonna shut it down.
yeah, because if you see here, the application uses the console's browser to stream gameplay. So he has somehow manipulated the console's browser, which means there's some sort of defect or something that he's gotten around, which Nintendo is not gonna like that. At some point, probably when he's done, because that's just how Nintendo do things. They're gonna wait till he's done and then shut it down. Which is unfortunate, because like this whole idea is so cool.
Yeah. So.
But the crazy thing about it is that when they were first, even before he was even developing this app, really, it was kind of just a concept.
Right.
He was saying he was reaching out to Nintendo when he had good news. So it's like, is the good news that you cracked the Switch, or is the good news that Nintendo said that you could? You
right,
because
like,
where I'm confused.
Even from his tweets, he's never specifically said Nintendo gave him the okay for this.
Exactly, but he seemed so excited, so it's like, okay, what is it? Like, what's the good news?
Like,
I don't understand.
I hope it becomes reality. Like, this is, like, let's be real. This is the only way you're gonna get third-party games on the Switch. A lot of them anyways, so, but of course you still need a PC that can do it. But like, is it actually gonna happen? We'll see in a couple months, I guess. But like, I'm still on the side that Nintendo is not actually gonna allow this. We're talking about the company that like shuts down fan-made games. Do you think they're gonna let this guy use a Nintendo exploit and get a bunch of third-party games running on the console that they're not making money off of? If they do, that'd be really cool. Like, obviously, I would like to be wrong about this. I would 100% like to be wrong on this, but I'm probably not.
That's where my skepticism lies, too.
Yeah.
Like, my skepticism is this actually approved?
Yeah.
I don't want to be excited for something and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a soft mod. Like, no, I'm not doing it.
I don't know. For me, it's like when I hear things that's just like super amazing, I'm like, yeah, this isn't going down. Like, if you hear that they're actually gonna have the Switch can work without using another app, then you're like, yeah, Nintendo's about to shut that down.
Yeah, and they're not getting paid. They're not getting any kind of money out of these third-party games running on their system.
Like, the only way I can see them making money off this is if it becomes a paid app in the eShop and Nintendo takes a cut. Or if it's like a monthly service you have to pay and Nintendo takes a portion of it, then they probably wouldn't care.
Yeah,
at the same time, that's a good question.
They would get with the people and try to cut some kind of deal with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if Nintendo says, fuck your app, it's not coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, that's a good question. How do y'all feel if it was approved as a paid app? Like, would you be willing to pay for it? I mean, I'd be cool with it personally.
I have so many games on Steam, and then I can play my Nintendo games, and then backdoor I play my Steam games. Yeah. I would do it. Because most of the games I play is Nintendo PC. Like,
right.
That's pretty much the bulk of my gaming right now is Nintendo PC. I would love that, to be able to play them all.
Even if it was a paid app, I don't think I'd have an issue with it.
And then there's so many, like, games on PC that are, like, smaller grade, that's not super graphic strong, that would work well on Nintendo Switch. Like,
yeah.
I could do Freedom Planet on there. I could probably do Awesome Dogs. I could probably do a couple of Naruto games. Like, it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
So anybody else got anything else to say about Rainway?
No.
Alright. Well, let's move on to THQ Nordic. They're working on Switch whenever possible, but hardware power makes it challenging. This is what they had to say over at THQ Nordic. This was part of some interview, but I don't know where it's from. This article doesn't seem to say. It just says game industry interview.
The one from game industry. Go down to the picture where it's like a battle, like a picture with like, I guess like a battle scene, and then the caption, I can't talk, it says the publisher has more than just classic THQ properties under its belt, blah blah blah. And the little excerpt talking about that whole ordeal is underneath there.
What?
Like, go down to you see, you're on the article, right?
Yeah.
Go down to the picture, like the screenshot of, it looks like that Battle Crashers game or whatever it's
Oh,
called.
okay.
So go down there, and the caption says the publisher has more than just classic THQ properties under its belt.
Okay, yeah, I see that here.
So the excerpt where they're talking about the Switch is underneath there.
Okay, we've been in touch with Nintendo about the Switch for more than a year. So we've been looking at it for our current lineup, and we look wherever it's possible. It's just a bit sad that they haven't gone for more beefy hardware, but it is what it is. So we just have to work our way around it. So,
There's a part above there too.
uh,
How they have some demanding games.
let me just read this real quick. This is partly due to 3DS firms, I believe, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they say they have some other games, and they don't want to be synonymous with kids anymore. They're going for more hardcore markets after
Well,
you draw
can't switch
fails.
then. Because that's not the hardcore market.
Right, it says, okay, we have a notable artist, Joe whatever, he said, there's a challenge running smoothly on the Switch, and open world sci-fi RPG Elix is just too demanding right now, which is some of their titles that are coming out. So, this game, I guess this is the game he's talking about, this little hand-drawn game, is apparently too difficult to put on the Switch.
That's that Battle Chasers game that they showed at the Nindies.
Wow. Okay, so
which actually looks really cool.
It's challenging though. So here we go again. We're back at it. Another generation of third parties, which will make any excuse they can to keep their games off Nintendo's console, and the same thing comes up time and time and time again. Power, power, power. We're talking about developers that, not these guys specifically, but just in general, we're talking about developers that put their games still on last generation hardware. We're talking about developers that put their games on fucking cell phones. Somehow, they have trouble working on Nintendo's hardware only. Even though the Switch is the most developer-friendly console that Nintendo has ever made, that is factual. And it is scalable because of the engines that they support, and the hardware that they use make it easier to port to than any other Nintendo console. So, again, we're running into this issue where they cannot tell you the real reason of what's going on, of why these games aren't coming to Nintendo, so they have to use a scapegoat, and the scapegoat always is power. Power, power, power. When we all know the real reason is money, fan base, install base. They're not there. They don't buy the games. And these guys can't say that out loud because it makes their company look bad. So they would rather make up nonsense, to be honest. Like, power is the reason, when you can, of course, scale your games down to run on the device. Because a lot of us in here, myself, Nia, and Kuuppon, and Retro, we play PC games. And we understand about scaling and how you can reduce the settings, like low, medium, high, ultra settings, different resolutions, different frame rates. All of that stuff is possible, especially with the Switch. Using the hardware it is, you can get these games running. But they don't want to put the effort in, which is unfortunate. Which is why you see
glad
things.
you brought up this topic too.
Yeah.
Because like this was talking about a lot this week in general, just all over the internet. Like, this was so much BS that the Dragon Ball community, with like casual gamers,
Yeah.
was talking about how BS this was.
It is.
Like, they were talking about
yes.
Xenoverse and how it works. So Dragon Ball Fighters makes no sense not to work on the Switch at all.
Yeah.
And they showed proof and evidence.
Xenoverse is a more graphically intensive and full-on 3D game than that new Dragon Ball game, and yet they're pretending like it won't run.
And the funniest thing about this Dragon Ball game is the developers, for once, didn't blame it on power. They said it's not a power issue. It's just the fan base. It's the install base. They said it themselves. It is the install base. Which other
The other companies won't do that.
They won't say that. They said it. They were like, look, we'll bring it over. We just want to know you guys are going to purchase it. If you're not, what's the point of us bringing it over? Which I can relate.
That's totally fair.
That's totally fair. They're being straight up honest. But they also, in the same breath, was like, if you beg for it, and that I don't approve of. No, I'm not going to beg for your game. But if you are willing to make it, and there's an install base, then sure, I'll purchase your game. But people like THQ have still talked about, oh well, it's about power. No, it's not, because this is probably the better, more powerful consoles that Nintendo has ever had for the longest, and it's user friendly, and it's easier to scale things down, like, you know, like Alex said and everything. So like, there's no excuse about power. And if you want to start talking about power, I don't see other people with powerful consoles getting a lot of freaking games, but I won't say anything else on that. But still, it's not about power. You want the
I saw one developer use the excuse. I can't remember which one it was, but it was so stupid. They said something, I'm paraphrasing, putting the game on the Switch wouldn't meet our vision of what the game should be, because they just simply don't want to scale the game down. Which I
would respect that versus it's just not powerful enough.
Which is fine. Like, they don't.
We want it to look.
Yeah, they don't want the game to look inferior than other versions. That's why we don't want to put it on. Which is fine. Like, just say something like that. But like, when you turn around and say, "Nah, it just won't run," that's a lie.
I mean, call me petty, but what happened to the good old days when you scale up just for cutscenes and then scale back down for the regular gameplay? Like, isn't that still a thing?
I don't think people want to do that anymore.
Yeah,
like, I think, and this is what I'll say about this, man. Like, I'm not a game developer, but like Alex said before, like, I've been playing PC games enough to know that even if there's a game that seems like it requires a lot of assets, if you do some, you know, finagling around in the settings, you can get it to do what you want it to do. And even on last week on Team Red, I was saying this is why game makers on consoles need to just give us the option to just fix our settings on PC games, because that would just fix everything. And we can choose if we want to have a game that looks trash or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me make that choice, whether or not I'm gonna take out some of the aliasing or take out the shadows or whatever.
Right, which is one of my biggest gripes with the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. You don't really have that option. The PS4 Pro does it for like Tomb Raider and a couple other games, but like they don't give you that option of, oh, I want to play 4K with 30 frames, or oh, I'll do 1080p with 60. You don't really have that choice a lot of the time. Which doesn't make sense, considering how similar these consoles are to PCs now.
That's the thing that I don't understand. It's like, I understand that the Switch is not a beast. It's not a powerhouse.
Obviously.
We know that coming in.
Yeah, we know that.
That's not the argument.
That's not the argument.
It's like, in my opinion, I would beg to differ. I think the Switch is a beast for what it brings to the table. I mean, as far as like handhelds, it is like the evolution of the 3DS as far as graphic quality. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a beastly handheld for the handheld section, but as a console itself, no, it's not beastly as a console. You know, at-home console, because obviously there are others out there. But for what it does, yes, it's definitely a beast.
Yeah, it's not.
I gotta apologize. I always forget that. Like, the word console and Switch is like non-existent in my vocabulary.
Yeah, it's not a.
It's not.
We know it's not.
It's not a traditional home console. It doesn't really play by traditional home console rules. But when you're comparing it to an Xbox and a PlayStation and especially a Pro and a Scorpio, it's definitely not a beast. But in the same breath, you got to remember, this console has a lot of the modern engines, and it's easy to develop for because Nintendo designed it that way, along with Nvidia, to make games being able to run on this device. Even the CEO of Nvidia made it very clear that this console will be able to run games and port them over easily. And Miyamoto even said that a AAA game can be ported over to the Switch within 1 year.
And that's the thing that I don't understand. Like, sure, the Switch is not a beast if you're comparing it to the other home consoles, but it has the tools inside of it natively. Like, we talk about this on Team Red all the time. It has tools inside natively to make it easier to go optimize it. So even if you have to make it look uglier, you can still get it to work with optimization, and it runs fine. It is going to look as pretty, but it will be comparable to playing a game on PC on low settings. And that's really all it is.
For example, you have a game on PlayStation 4 will be like 1080p. It'll be 30 frames per second, a mixture of medium and high settings. You go over to the Xbox One, it'll have similar settings, medium to high, but the resolution will be like 900p. Then you go down to the Switch, which is a little less powerful than the Xbox One. You'd be looking at maybe 720p. with a mixture of medium to high or maybe just medium settings, yes, it's going to look worse. Absolutely. It's
like
not as powerful.
The most frustrating thing as a PC gamer about all of this is how disrespectful everyone is to NVIDIA. Like, they really sleep on it, like T1 isn't holding down power.
Yeah, true.
Right.
True.
NVIDIA is the leading graphics card manufacturer. They know what they're doing. But
it's like we give Bethesda passes for being inconsistent with their games and choppy all the time. But we have a company with a good track record, and you don't want to listen to them.
Right. I don't understand why people give Bethesda a pass all the time. Their games run like shit. Absolute shit. Yeah. Well, the open world games, anyways. But yeah, like it is what it is.
What it boils down to at the end of the day is that
they're not gonna make their money back, or at least they feel they won't.
Not only that, but we've come to such a point in gaming that developers feel like if they dumb down the appearance of their games, that's gonna cause like some kind of like apocalyptic effect in the gaming community. And in some respects, it might, because gamers these days, they really care about graphics a whole lot. They're very laser focused on resolution and polygon count and all that kind of stuff.
There's shit that don't do nothing about your game whatsoever.
But I think that if we were still living in, say, like the 6th generation and beyond, like people would easily port to the Switch and willfully port to the Switch, even if it looks lesser than, because back then we just wanted to play a good game. We didn't care if it didn't have as much aliasing or any aliasing. We didn't care if it didn't have as many shadows and lighting. We just wanted to play a good game. But now everybody has their freaking magnifying glasses out, seeing what your polygon count is, seeing what your resolution count is.
What's your water looking like?
Right. To the point where, like, exactly, your water. So now THQ Nordic doesn't want to put any games on the Switch because they feel like it will make the game look too ugly, quote unquote, and people will just pretty much tear the game apart or not buy it because of the way that it looks. And in some degrees, you can even kind of say they're correct in that assessment.
Sometimes
because a lot of gamers are like that.
But then you have to look.
Lie.
Wait, hold on. Then you have to look at the other side of the track. So you saying you don't want to put your game on here because it's not gonna look as pretty. But Nintendo gamers, for the most part, and the Nintendo consumer, for the most part, don't give a shit about how pretty your game looks. They want to know, is your game gonna be fun and is it working right, for the most part. And if you're willing to put in that effort to make sure the gameplay is gonna be there and stuff, then the graphics, I mean, it's not gonna be as big a deal to a lot of us. And it's just sad that a lot of developers just don't see that. They don't notice that, and they can't pick up on that because all they see is what the core gamer is seeing. It's like, oh, we want all this pretty looking stuff. But does all that prettiness do anything about your frame rates and your stutterings and your pop-ins and stuff?
Like,
does any of that shit work? Does any of that prettiness do anything as far as your gameplay working? Like, if you're playing a game that's beautiful but it's stuttering, what do you care about how pretty it is if you can't fucking get to the next level?
Which is why we have the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, which are virtually worthless because they don't perform better than the original consoles. All they do is have prettier graphics.
Just make your stuff look pretty.
Like,
they're still doing 30 frames.
Yeah, we're 3 consoles in on the Xbox One X when that thing comes out. 3 versions of the Xbox One, and that fucking piece of garbage is still running 30 frames per second. But hey, we got checkerboard 4K, right, guys?
I'm trying to understand how this is possible. Like, I mean, if you look back at gaming history as a whole, and how it's changed and evolved, I don't understand how the split happened. Like, let me give you a perfect example. If we go back to consoles and PC back in the day, they were virtually almost the same thing. They were just different platforms. Like, I mean, you could play games on your Super Nintendo, your Sega Genesis, you can play on your television, you can play on your PC, where there was like Carmen Sandiego, Commander Keen. It was the same exact thing. We go a few years, and now consoles about aesthetics and no gameplay, and PC still keeps the tradition, but they evolved in the sense of being for the people as far as prices and freedom of choice. I don't understand how that could happen. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know.
You can have pretty graphics on PC because you can upscale and all that stuff yourself. Whereas opposed you can't do it on these consoles, like Alex had said, you know, with the Xbox One X and the Pro and all that stuff. There's no setting, there's no option for you to fix the settings yourself. The developer makes the game, they make the game for all different settings, and you have the power to fix those settings the way you want. But you don't have that on, you know, there's essentially PCs that have they're essentially PCs that don't give you options for settings. That's essentially what Pro and the X is. It's a PC that doesn't allow you to fix your settings. You get the settings that the devs give you, and that is it. And if your game looks pretty, then I guess you're happy. But if you can't freaking jump, or your game is stuttering and there's all this frame rate issues, but you don't care, you know, frame rate isn't your problem. It's you gotta have a pretty game. More power.
And that's
to you
what
guys.
bothers me too. If we all took a poll on Twitter with our audiences right now and said, if McDonald's told you you had to have mayonnaise and a pickle on your burger and you had no choice, everyone would be outraged for that dollar burger. But with a higher price medium, it's no big deal to have freedom of choice. I don't get it.
Yeah. I think that in situations with the Switch and third party, like I think that developers should, even if it doesn't look as pretty, like just put it on there anyway. Because if you're a Nintendo gamer, you're not looking for games that are pushing pixels, to be honest.
You should
like
know
let's keep
by
it
now.
real. Like there's a lot of
You should
Nintendo
know by
games that
now.
look gorgeous, and don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they don't look as good as you would see on a PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, but they look good regardless. Like we're playing freaking Zelda right now in 900p. The game is still gorgeous.
Right.
You could easily put like some game that's a third-party game on there, and people will play it just because it's on the Switch. They're not gonna care that it's 720p, or you know what I'm saying? Like they're not gonna care if it doesn't have as many shadows.
They're not gonna care, but like
they're not gonna care.
Again, like it has nothing. Like at the end of the day, like they would scale these games if they thought they were gonna sell. Like we saw this with the Wii. The Wii was a standard definition console. It had a lot of units sold, so third parties put their games on it. Hell, they made special versions of Call of Duty just to get it on there.
Exactly.
But like, they're not willing to put in the work for the Switch because one, the install base isn't there yet, and two, they're fucking terrified after the Wii U and how nothing third party sold on that device. And it's been like that for a long time. And
a lot of those third-party games are like garbage.
It doesn't matter, and that doesn't.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm not buying a garbage game just because.
Even the ones that were good didn't sell.
Yeah.
Which ones were actually?
Deus
good?
Ex, Need for
So
Speed,
Need for
Call
Speed.
of Duty.
How many? Call of Duty.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, I had Black Ops 2 and Ghost. They both ran well.
Call of Duty off that list because Call of Duty didn't get none of the DLC. It didn't get the.
Well, you didn't know that when it came out.
Yes, that was one of the things that they said. Like that's the reason why a lot of people.
And Assassin's Creed 4 was really good on the Switch. I had it there. I had a lot of third-party games on the Switch. Not the Switch, the Wii U.
There was a lot of them that were that weren't like the ones that were not good ports outnumbered the ones that were.
It's irrelevant. The ones that were good still didn't get bought.
I would have liked to agree.
Those are just excuses.
There were some good ones, but then they still weren't bought. Let's just be straight up front. Like people, like Switch, like Nintendo gamers, we don't buy third parties. Let's just be up front. We ain't looking for no third party games, even though you sit up here screaming about how you want third party. Like I want third party games, true, I do. But I also don't want the whole watered down version of the third party game as well. So I'm on both of your side. I understand where Alex is coming from with, you know, there are third party games that came.
I will show you the list and you tell me every single excuse you have for these games selling, and then we'll go from there. So let's start from the bottom. These are all zeros, I guess they didn't actually come out. Darksiders, 10,000 copies. Hello Kitty, 10,000 copies. Legend of K, 10,000 copies. Barbie, I know Bear about that one, 10,000 copies. Fast Racing Neo, 10,000 copies. Puyo Puyo Tetris, 20,000 copies. Let's go up some more. So games actually people know about. Dragon Quest X, 20,000 copies. Fist of the North Star, 20,000 copies. Monster High, what is it? Sniper Elite, 20,000 copies. Let's keep going. Rabbids, 30,000. Yokai Watch, 40,000. Adventure Time, 40,000. Shantae, 40,000. Trine, 40,000. Mighty Number 9. How did that sell 50,000?
Mighty Number 9 was amazing.
It outsold Shantae. That's disgusting.
Success.
Minecraft Story Mode, 60,000. Legend of K, 60,000. DuckTales, 70,000. Devil's Third, 70,000. Warriors Orochi 3, 80,000. Amazing Spider-Man, 90,000. Just Dance, 90,000. Angry Birds, 10,000. 100,000.
I said, but we're still getting Just Dance.
Well, that's this specific version. There's other ones that sold well. Deus Ex, 100,000. Lego Batman 2, 100,000. Fatal Frame, 100,000. These are all terrible. We have to go all the way up here till we break the million. And that's the first one that breaks a million is Zombie U, which is 22nd place. The rest of them are all Nintendo games. Other than, what is this? Pokken Tournament. You can still count that as a Nintendo game because they are partnered with that game. So, like, any game that's over a million outside of Minecraft here, and, where'd it go? The one I just said, Zombie U, didn't even crack a million. Most of them are sitting way down here at 400,000, or a lot of them are under 200,000, a lot of them are fucking under 10,000, which is just, kind of sad. So, like, you look at this, you can't tell me, maybe you can try to tell me, but you can't make me believe that every single one of these third-party games was bad.
No, I'm not saying that they were all bad, but a lot of them were lesser. A lot of them were lesser. And then, like, they were old, and people have to remember, like, a lot of people who also play on Nintendo have other consoles, so by the time, like, Mass Effect came out, and all those other games came out, they had already bought them on their PlayStation or their Xbox or PC. Like, I do believe that a lot of people who play Nintendo aren't checking for third-party games on Nintendo, but I think that there's, like, levels to it as well.
Like here is a perfect example of the fuckery.
Like, there were certain circumstances around a lot of those games too. Like I said, like a lot of them were old. And then a lot of them had like defects or something, or they just didn't have everything that was on like the other versions. Like, I don't disagree with you.
I know there are some games on the Wii U that are inferior, but not all of them. And even the good ones. Look at this shit. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 sold less than fucking Star Fox Zero. You can't tell me that makes sense.
I have to agree with Alex here. Like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, Bayonetta, when it first came out on the Wii U, did not really do well. But I noticed when, like, Etika, the King Nappy, and all of them were talking about it and was excited about Bayonetta being in Smash Bros., that's when, like, most of the community really wanted to hop on playing Bayonetta. On top of that, Pokken Tournament was a solid game. And that game died on arrival just because it played more like a traditional fighter. And yes, I may be a little salty about that, but it was a solid game.
Well,
and
you're
no one
salty
gave it a
because
chance.
it played like a traditional fighter.
Why wouldn't it play like a fighter?
No, I'm saying, no, I'm salty that people rejected it for that reason.
It sold over 1 million though.
But I mean, like, if you played online... It
Oh
was
yeah, the online was dead. Yeah.
Online was dead, yeah.
I won maybe 50 matches straight, and I was in S rank. Like, I did not have to do a lot of work to get there. Like, it was the dead crowd.
But like this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you look at this list of games, you look at the sales, and then you look at the Switch, and you start seeing the excuses that these same publishers are making. It has nothing to do about power. It's all about this. These poor sales, they didn't make their money back. That's all it ever is. They have to deal with shareholders. They have to deal with people breathing down their neck. They're not gonna put money into the Switch if this is the result they're getting. And I don't like putting the blame on Nintendo fans, because like we all here play Nintendo. But like, look at this.
But it shows that it is our fault at the same time as the fact that
you can't only blame them.
Yeah, it's everybody has a part of this. This is definitely Nintendo fans, Nintendo, and third parties as well as like it's
like,
all of it.
There's like I said, I don't disagree with Alex.
Oh yeah,
but there's also like so many like levels to this whole.
And it's kind of sucks because it's like like me as a Nintendo fan, let's put it like this. Me as a Nintendo fan, and the fact that I play on PC and I have a PlayStation and and all that stuff. Like, you give me a game and it's a great game and it's multi-plat and it comes to the Switch and I want to get it on the Switch. My first thought when the game was announced, I want to get it on the Switch. Then there's more information that comes out about the Switch version that I'm not going to be able to enjoy because it's going to be on the other versions. And it's like, I want it on the Switch. I want to support it on the Switch because I want more games to come to it. But I don't want to be shitted. I don't want to be shitted out of a good experience because you watered down the game for that version I wanted. And that's the dilemma us as we have. And that's why it's our fault.
Sorry.
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
And Jamaican Bacon, he makes a good point in the chat. He said, like, and it was hard, especially during the Wii U generation, because the Wii U itself was just a garbage situation altogether. So it's like the Nintendo community really doesn't buy third-party games in as an influx like the other fan bases do on the other side of things. But like the Wii U itself was just like
the Wii U took that to a whole other level.
It was so lackluster, and it was just so heartbreaking because it's like you wanted to support Nintendo, but you didn't want to support the Wii U. If you understand what I'm saying,
that's a lot of people.
That was how a lot of people felt. They wanted to support Nintendo. They wanted you to know that they support Nintendo and that they wanted more games, but the system that you had to deal with was
this guy in the chat here. The reason that they're still supporting PS4 and Xbox One, Mr. Spotty Audie, I'll show you why. Because regardless of what you believe, Xbox and PlayStation will always sell third-party games. Look, Black Ops, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo, look, a first-party game, good for them. Fallout, Call of Duty, Star Wars, Minecraft, FIFA, Assassin's Creed, Gears of War, another first-party. A lot of it is third-party games, because they have the opposite issue of Nintendo. And let's go over to PlayStation.
They get third-party games, but not the first-party. And Nintendo has the first-party, but not the third-party.
Right, it's the same thing with Sony. Theirs is even worse. They have less first-party games up in the top here. Again, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, FIFA again, Star Wars, Call of Duty again, Fallout, Call of Duty again, Battlefield, FIFA again, Destiny. Like, you look at this. Call of Duty here, almost 15 million. It was not even 500,000 on the Switch, on the Wii U. That's the difference.
Painful to say, but this generation doesn't care as much about first parties. They're more pro third party.
Right.
But it's like you can get that on any platform, so.
But again, like that's not gonna be the situation on the Switch. Like, let's look at the Switch so far.
Like Darkstar said, he said that the 3DS was doing fine. People had no problem with Nintendo, really, just the Wii U.
Yeah, like then the Switch.
That's even us, on Team Red, like we're big Nintendo fans. Even in the Wii U generation, we were just like.
Yeah, like it's just the Wii U was just not a good system, but like the Switch is just going to be like a souped up 3DS, which is totally fine. The 3DS has a lot of really good games. They don't have droughts, and it's mostly first party stuff, which is totally cool. It's just
that's my biggest frustration. There's so many good things on the 3DS that I would want on the Switch that we don't necessarily have yet. And I say yet because there's some of them I truly believe we're going to get. Like, we obviously know we're getting Pokemon.
Yeah.
But like Phoenix Wright and stuff like that and Project Cross Zone, those are things we should get. Or when they want to do little side stories of Kingdom Hearts.
Bring all those 3DS games over to the Switch. Yeah. Like, and stuff. Like, all the third-party 3DS games that are on the Switch as well. Bring all that stuff over.
That'll move over eventually.
Like, bring them over. They would definitely do well. Like, I think they would do awesome. And just start from I just feel like third parties, and I get their frustration, but we are so frustrated. So it's like it's a double-edged sword. Everybody's frustrated because we want to support Nintendo in third-party games, but at the same time, third parties feel like their games aren't going to do great. But you gotta start somewhere.
That's all it ever is. They're worried they're not going to make their money back.
And I understand that, but I just feel like we have to start somewhere. So my thing is like with this gen, I already had the idea that I'm going to take the hit on some of these third-party games if they bring them over. Certain ones, not all of them. If I really like the game,
this is
your game. I'll probably do it.
this is reality. It's not fair, but this is what it is. Like if Nintendo wants these games on their console, they're gonna have to do whatever they need to, which means money, to ensure the games come to the console, or start publishing more titles. That's the only one so far, though. But like, who was stupid enough to spend $60 for Skyrim in 2017? Like, that's retarded.
It should have been at most.
It should have been like if they were gonna do a Skyrim, they should have made a specific type of Skyrim specifically for Nintendo that isn't the same one that we've seen already before.
They weren't gonna make a whole new game though.
Like, it's Nintendo, but yeah.
Skyrim on the Switch and then the VR Skyrim kind of like the little like
side projects, yeah.
Side projects, yeah.
But it is what it is. Like when it comes to third parties, like don't believe this power stuff. The power stuff isn't real.
But
like, irregardless, yeah. Like,
but like our good buddy Francis said, you should buy Skyrim though.
Yeah, I'm not buying Skyrim. I don't like.
He went on Twitter and told everyone to go buy it if you want third party games. You gotta buy Skyrim even if you already have it. Pay $60.
And Darkstar, I see what you're saying. You're saying like buy the Skyrim FIFA, but like this is where I'm coming from. I don't like Skyrim. Never bought it on any system. Not gonna buy it now. Don't care about FIFA. Don't care about 2K. Not buying none of those fucking games.
Yes,
never played them. Never touched them. And that sucks. And that's the problem. Some of these games I've never touched.
I think like that.
And I'm not going to touch.
The NBA game is the only one that's like a proper port.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna buy 2K real quick.
Yeah, 2K will be good on the Switch. Like that's like a quality job that they're doing. FIFA's not. Skyrim's not. Well, actually, Skyrim's a good port. It's just $60. It's not worth it.
Yeah, if it was cheaper, I'll probably buy it. But I can literally buy it on my PC right now for like $6 on CDP.
And then we all know, because I have my little thing about Sonic Forces. Like Sonic Forces on the Switch isn't worth buying because it's half the frame rate of the other versions. Trash. But what can you expect? What can you expect from Sega developers, right? But let's go ahead and get to questions here, because this third-party stuff, like, I don't know what to tell you guys, like, it's just not happening. You can wait and see all generation, but they're not coming.
We'll get a few sprinkled here and there, but I don't see any big AAA third-party.
But at this point, we're in 2017. You should have another console by now.
Yeah.
Or some way to play them.
I have a question for you guys, just curious.
Yeah.
Why do you think some of the older Nintendo third-party games that were like exclusively to Nintendo, we haven't seen anymore? Because I mean, Skies of Arcadia, a few games like that were really solid ones that I think would be worthwhile coming back. And because they're not on the other consoles, you can't, or PC for that matter, you can't complain about the graphics because you can only get it from one place.
Right. I don't know. They just stopped making it, I guess, or what? They wanted to put it somewhere else.
Once Nintendo's done dropping all their, first-party bombs, is that they're gonna have to go into their vault anyway and bring out some of their old-ass games. So we'll probably see a few of them rise from the grave.
Okay. Do you think Reggie will be in the direct tomorrow? Yes, he's gonna appear out of the ink and show us the headset.
Oh my god.
Do you think that Western third-party need to stop being lazy and start having creative ideas?
Well, they don't do that on any console, but I mean, okay.
I don't know. I thought Anthem looked pretty cool.
Anthem was fairly new. Like they're coming with new stuff, but at the same time, it still has the same kind of mechanics in most of these games these days. And you kind of get burnt out on that after a while. But I mean, I don't think all of them are lazy. I think a lot of them are trying new things, and it's just.
It's difficult because like these games cost so much money now because they're so obsessed with graphics that they're spending so much money that they have to play it safe to make stuff.
The consumer base, basically, we set it up for us as gamers. We set it up for devs to be literally having to not be home half the time and stay in studios to make these big AAA title games that half of us don't even purchase because whatever freaking reason. Like, if we could get off the graphics spiel for a while, we might see better games.
That's absolutely true. Which is why indie games are like lately a lot more fun than third-party AAA games.
Yeah, because they don't require a lot of visuals.
They focus on gameplay first. That's why.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's why when people say, you know, where are all the creative games? Like, it just depends on where you're looking. Like,
You're not gonna find creative games at the big AAA's anymore. It's not happening for the most part.
If you're only looking at the big AAA's, I got some news for you.
They gotta stick to what works for them.
Exactly. They gotta make sure they make their money back. And
they gotta stick with what works, and what works is the, you know, Assassin's Creed and GTA's and stuff like that. You're not
and indie like indie games are like really creative too.
Yeah.
I swear to you, if you gave an indie company F-Zero, they would do the most weird but exclusive thing that you couldn't even help it. Like, I don't care about racing, but if you gave an indie company F-Zero, it'd probably be open world where you're walking around trying to get money for parts of a car.
Yeah, probably.
You get in Smash Bros format, fight somebody, win the prize money, and build a car just to race. You spend 8 hours of content trying to afford a car before you actually race.
These indie devs.
Oh, this is an interesting one. And this kind of piggybacks on what we were talking about earlier. This is from Darkstar. If Nintendo fans do not buy all the third-party games that are coming out to the Switch this year, and we don't get support in the future, what excuse will the fanboys have next?
I'll answer that.
They're gonna say at least Nintendo hasn't died like Sega.
Oh,
I'll say that. I'll say this. I think that the fan base for the Switch is going to be the saving grace. I talked about this a little bit on my channel, that I think that because the Nintendo Switch is attracting a fan base that isn't your typical quote-unquote Nintendo fanboy, there's a lot more opportunities now for certain games that aren't typical Nintendo to sell.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, because the Switch is broadening the Nintendo ecosystem. Like, it's bringing people in that don't typically game Nintendo and haven't gamed a Nintendo in a long time. And when you have a diverse player base, and I think that's the reason why the PlayStation brand tends to do so well, is because they have such a diverse player base. So when you have a diverse player base, then you have, you know, little subsections of your community that desire certain types of games. And once you incorporate those users into your ecosystem, games are always going to do well in your ecosystem generally. So if the Nintendo Switch can continue the momentum, and Nintendo can start branching out and bringing some of those not so Nintendo like, that's happening.
No,
just kill the 3DS.
It's gonna happen soon.
That's happening. But as soon as they start incorporating those people, I don't think we will be having these conversations as much if Nintendo is successful in bringing in different types of gamers.
Here's the other thing I want to bring up too, just playing devil advocate here. Not gonna say where my job is, but I will say at my job, I noticed that we still get tons of customers looking for Switches all the time. Like, if I could count the amount of customers that ask for Switches per week, I would say 10 to 15% of our customer base is always looking for Nintendo Switches. So I also feel like us, the hardcore gamers, because we're more into the gaming medium, have more complaints about the Switch than a regular general casual audience.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, here's one from Chariot Man. Do you guys see the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle becoming successful?
There's a lot of people are actually interested in it. I think it is. I think it's going to be successful. I've actually seen a lot of people talking about it. I've seen some videos of people who got a chance to actually play it. They were sent to Ubisoft to actually play it and stuff, and they have videos and stuff. So it'll actually be a thing, and it looks good. It really looks good, and it's kind of swaying me. I might check it out.
I think a lot of people were caught off guard by that game. I'm going to check it out. That game looks awesome.
When they went to E3, and TBH roasts games like Releasey does old cartoons, and he gave Rabbids a solid title game. Like, he said it was really good. He played a little bit and he liked it. And he complains about games all the time. So the fact he liked it, he said something.
Yeah. TBH, he's one of those kind of people, like, he sits on the fence for a lot of stuff. Yeah. Because, like, I was
Is that the Black Hokage guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was talking about something on Twitter about the Switch, and he was like, "Yo, I've been sleeping on the Switch and like roasting it, but I had a chance to get it in my hands at E3, and I'm sold."
I was listening to their podcast, and like all three of them want to get one after trying it at E3.
Yeah, and that's usually they roast Nintendo.
They be roasting Nintendo all the time. They be talking all kinds of shit about Nintendo.
Exactly. For those of you that don't know, TBH is like 800% black. He's probably like the blackest gamer. Like he does not care.
Yeah, him and the Gaming Illuminati, they're pretty cool. They're cool. They're hilarious. It's fun to watch their podcast, but the fact that they actually had, you know, they went and got a chance to play the Switch, and they're like, yeah, now I want one. I was like, oh my god, really? I didn't expect to hear that.
Convince them, like,
you can convince them, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Well, we even got like hardcore Nintendo haters out here asking for a Switch for their
Asking
birthday.
for Switches.
Yeah, and TVX is not a Nintendo hater. He just doesn't.
Oh no, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
Like
In
even
general,
even when these guys who hate Nintendo and cry about them all fucking day are trying to get people to buy one for their birthday, you know Nintendo did something right.
Yeah.
I can say he'll talk trash, but he literally had every Nintendo console.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not like he likes like Pokemon and stuff. Like he's not like a hater.
Yeah.
He just be talking mess.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like stuff.
That's funny. But
they
yeah,
do
there's a lot of
sometimes,
dudes out here.
normal with
You
Nintendo.
talking about Alex?
Huh?
That's hilarious. I said I know who you talking about. That's
Everyone
hilarious.
should know who I'm talking about.
Like, this dude legit hates Nintendo, but he out here begging for a Switch. Bro.
Yep, that shit is ridiculous.
Like that's hilarious.
Hey Alex, Mia, can y'all
Spineless.
buy me a Switch for my birthday? It's this month.
Let's bring
Speaking
to
of which,
this
my
chat
birthday
here.
August 6th. Y'all trying to help a brother that's struggling, get him this gay a 5 for Switch?
I'm the struggle queen, so I can't help you with nothing, homie.
You have a Switch.
I know. I
was
don't
waiting
want
for
the
you to
Switch. I
say
just
that.
want a game.
Oh.
My money hurting.
Okay, here's
You know,
another
my
question.
birthday, I'm taking my girlfriend out to fucking Six Flags, so I ain't gonna have any
Oh
money.
damn, you got Six Flags money, but you ain't got Switch game money. Sounds like people who just buy figures all day. But how do you see this generation shaking out with the Switch and upcoming Scorpio and next gen Sony system? Honestly, like the Switch doesn't really compete with them directly. They have their own market. So like when it comes to Xbox and Sony, like there's no real concern because they do something those consoles can't. They can keep shoving power into the Xbox and PlayStation. It doesn't change the fact that they are just simply incapable of doing what this device can do and reaching the people that this device can reach. So
Yeah,
like,
that's
they'll
pretty much
be
it.
fine.
Just like that one dude saying how the Switch has the possibility of reaching a wider audience because it does something that the others don't. And a lot of people hate when Nintendo does that because they stray so far apart, but at the same time, it's like Nintendo kind of adds that difference. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they're not just another clone of the other.
Nintendo is kind of in that space where they have to do something different. They have to invent a different format of gaming as opposed to trying to compete. So they've always been on their own their own little world.
They do
doing
their own
little
thing.
So it works.
Like as long as they don't pull a Wii and Wii U where they go full casual and forget about everyone else.
Yeah, and forget about
Like,
the fact that the fact that they're not
Like I think they found
zoning in
the
on
right
that.
balance this time because they found something that reaches everybody, but then they're actually putting good games on it,
Exactly.
which is
Kinda like
what they
how-
should have did. But
Yeah. And just like kind of like how we were saying earlier, like about the whole, having the ability to reach a wider audience. Like you have this device that caters to not only the home console sector of the gaming market, but also the handheld part of things
Right.
as well. So you're reaching, and then like, mind if Nintendo had actually just went and just made like a standard console. Like I wouldn't have minded that because obviously I'm a Nintendo fan, so wherever the games are, that's where I'm going. But like the way that they did the Switch, I think is just kind of brilliant for them.
for them,
Yeah.
it works
And
for them.
It's very future proof for them too. If they really do, if they do what is necessary to keep it alive. Like
It's
this
the
is
most,
a good.
yeah.
This is a good thing for them. Like for the future. Like as far as gaming for them.
Like the way I see it, like we're complaining about some things we obviously want fixed by the Switch, but don't sleep on the Switch. Like they still have a lot of solid titles. I can openly admit, if I had more money right now, there's a lot of games I want for it right now that's out. This Gaia 5 mainly being one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Again from Spotty Audi, what will the next Nintendo hardware be? A handheld or a console? It's hybrids going forward, man.
It's hybrid.
Hybrids all
They're
day.
hybrid
That's
going
what they're
forward. We're
doing.
getting another Switch.
Like,
It's just gonna be
They
an upgrade of the
Yeah, it's just
current.
gonna be a more powerful Switch. Like they've already merged their handheld and home console divisions
Yep.
into one building. Like hybrid
they're
is
not
what they're doing going forward.
Yeah, it's hybrid, and we'll probably see VR later down the road, but hopefully not anytime
Eventually,
soon.
when it becomes more cost effective.
Yeah.
And like Kuuppon was saying, like the Switch, like the way that they're doing the hybrid thing now, like this is the most future-proof, forward-thinking thing Nintendo's done in a long time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because everybody knows that when it comes down to Nintendo consoles, like their handheld part is the part that always takes off, is the one that always has the most allure. So the best way they can get people to play their games at home and on the go is to make a hybrid.
Yep.
So,
and especially with the kind of games that they make.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of their games are good for pick up and go games, and then it's also good for sitting down at home and relaxing type of games. So it's they got universal games.
I love the idea of the Switch.
I feel like that's one of the things I like most about Nintendo, and I think you guys will kind of agree. Nintendo is kind of like the Marvel Comics of gaming. Even when they have their rough patches and people complain about it, like no one really completely dismisses them. They just wait for their hero to come back stronger.
Yeah, that's actually
pretty true.
Like, well, we just got.
Because now you see all these mysterious Nintendo fans that have come out of nowhere.
I know.
Like, who are you?
I could have sworn you left YouTube during the Wii U drought. But whatever, you're back. So, do you guys agree that Nintendo should mainly focus on themselves this generation? That's from Matthew Pipes.
Such as, like, their games?
Do you think Nintendo should be, I guess, more focused on Nintendo games, I guess, is what he meant.
They still need to they need to stay focused on their games, definitely, but don't make it be the end-all, be-all. Definitely branch out and try to secure some other avenues, because you don't have just Nintendo fans anymore on your system at this point. You have people who are not big Nintendo fans. They're just kind of casual.
They're buying
fans.
a Switch because it's cool.
Yeah, you got your hardcore fans, and now you got the people from the 3DS sliding on over here to the Switch. So no, don't just focus too much on just yourself and you. You know, definitely branch out. Definitely try to secure some of these other games and other avenues and stuff like that, but definitely keep your stuff, your stuff going forward. Always keep your quality, which Nintendo has never failed in doing, but definitely branch out.
I also feel like something all the consoles have been doing lately. Well, not even the consoles. Let me be honest, PC too, because PC's been doing it a lot lately. This generation, everyone's just been getting tons of ports. We've been seeing ports of games we never thought we were going to get on PC. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of us have been happy and bought them. I myself have bought them. Like, Nintendo could actually do more second-party games that we haven't seen in a while.
Right.
And then just do ports of a lot of older games that's on 3DS and some of the older consoles like GameCube and stuff. And it would be solid. Like, I don't think
they've had a lot of good games on the 3DS that would definitely correlate wonderfully to the Switch. All they'd have to do is upscale it or do what they got to do and bring it on over to the Switch. People will pick it up.
They're better off just focusing on first-party and third-party exclusives.
Yeah, but as far as that is concerned, though, the worst thing that Nintendo could do, like, is kind of like rest on one or two genres.
Yeah.
Right.
Because even though the Wii U had a whole lot of like issues as far as like the console itself, one of the biggest issues that the Wii U had is that there were too many games in one particular genre.
Too many fucking platformers.
Like platformers. Exactly.
Platformers. It's platformers.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we need more like games. Like,
branch out.
Computers, we need arcade.
Horror, we need all that.
That's why. Exactly. That's why, like, when a lot of people were kind of upset that we didn't see a whole lot of third-party games at E3, I was okay because we had stuff like Xenoblade, RPG, we got Hack and Slash with Fire Emblem Warriors, we got freaking platform with Mario, Splatoon is a shooter, Arms is a fighter. That's what I want to see from Nintendo going forward. So if we don't broad range of genres on your console.
Yeah, so if we don't get third parties, which is probably the case right now, you would rather see more genres of gaming.
Yeah,
as far
more
as
genres.
And I see Nintendo as a really goofy company. So if they do stuff that's creative and funny, like, I'm not gonna be mad at it. For like perfect example, if they made Luigi's Mansion kind of anime-esque in the sense that they make it a comedy like they're trying to be a serious horror, but because Luigi's a complete Brady cat, they're making fun of the fact that he's scared of everything. Like
That's the
Luigi,
brilliant
they
thing
do the
about
tone of the music. They're terrified, and you find out it's not a ghost. Luigi flashes his flashlight and it's just a chair. Or even with arms, if they did something like super racist, like made a black boxer that can't even stretch his arms with no abilities, regular boxing style, like that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, like the thing with Luigi's Mansion, that's actually pretty hilarious. But
hopefully we get another one.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I really want from Nintendo is if they're gonna do it by themselves again, which they likely will do.
Yeah.
Just have more genres this time.
Yep.
Because like really, nobody has a problem with getting a Nintendo console for Nintendo first-party games only, but just
Except
have
Zaire.
Oh goodness.
Nobody cares.
Just have a variation is all I'm saying. You know.
Yeah, they gotta vary it up. Like more third-party exclusives, more second-party games, obviously more first-party. Because like that was one thing that they screwed up with on the Wii U. They didn't bring it when it came to the first-party games, and like there was too many droughts. It doesn't.
They actually had some bad ones.
There's a lot of bad ones, so it doesn't
What if
seem like they're gonna
Nintendo
have that this
made
time.
a Smash Brothers style game called
Smash Brothers.
called Virtual Pet. Nah, hear me out. Virtual Pet Showdown. It'd be like Tamagotchi versus Pokemon, because remember they were like little Tamagotchis too, versus Digimon, because all three of them were Tamagotchis.
I would rather them not waste money.
If they do another fighter, they need to just go straight up, just like traditional 2D fighter.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a supplement to something like Arms.
Like, give me another punch. Give me something similar to Punch Out or something, but just expand on it more.
Oh yeah, or they could do like a Punch Out, because like Punch Out is different than Arms. Cause
it's
like they
your
can make
standard
it more,
boxer.
Yeah, they can make more of a standard boxer on a like Fight Night, but with like Nintendo.
Okay, what is this game they're talking about? Implosion, Never Lose Hope. What is this shit?
Oh, somebody's talking about a game?
They're telling me to tell people about this game, and I have no idea what it is, so don't give me 1 minute to look at it.
Implosion, Never Lose Hope.
Okay, I'm gonna put it up on the screen here so you guys can see it as well. So this apparently comes out on the Switch today, at midnight, I guess. So let's just watch this.
I'm pretty sure it says you're a sellout.
How is he a sellout?
He gets stupid.
Oh. Like, dang, what Alex do to you, fam?
Found out about them Loot Crate boxes, Alex.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, this is the game?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks interesting.
This is just CGI. I want to see the actual gameplay.
I want to see the actual gameplay, though.
Ah! That trailer was pointless! Okay.
I hate trailers that don't have gameplay.
If it don't have gameplay, I can't.
Fucking worthless.
Like, even if it's like a snippet of gameplay, or at least a concept of what the gameplay
Alright,
is.
this guy's playing it.
By the way, random, but shout out to Spody Odie. For all of you that's music heads, and you're a big fan of Outkast, you know where that come from, because you've heard the song.
Oh, okay. It's like a hack and slash game.
Oh, is it?
This has got more interesting.
I love hack and slashes.
So it's zombies.
It's not enough of them
Well,
out there,
I'll just leave
I'm
this
just
running in the background while I look at the questions here. There was one other one I saw. This comes out tonight,
that
apparently.
would be perfect for the Switch. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar.
Did you know?
Huh?
It's actually a mobile game.
Oh, is it?
Oh.
Like I'm looking at it now. It's on like the iOS and the Android store.
That's less exciting.
I was gonna ask you guys.
But
I'm not sure if
really
you're
good
familiar.
reviews.
Everything on there has good reviews. They're free games. Let's see. What else? I saw another question here. Maybe I lost it. What is that? This is called, I forgot the name. Implosion, Never Lose Hope.
Why am I just not hearing about this game?
I don't know. I've never seen this before. Apparently it's an indie game. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Well, I lost the last question, so I'm tired. Okay, oh, here it is. How many? No, I don't care about how many sales it's gonna make. Who cares? Oh yeah, here it is. This is from Tony. What do you think of President Kimishima's approval rating jumping up to 97.7%?
I mean, he's making the company money. Of course he got good approval rating.
I told you guys to believe in Kimi-chan. Because...
Kimishima's that dude.
Because Kimmy-chan is the businessman, and he is here. He's not here to play games. He's here to sell you games.
And
So...
I was so happy about that. Like, when they were talking about he's temporary, I'm like, no, don't make him temporary.
I could picture Kimishima right now, looking at his schedule, sipping on some vodka, and rubbing his hands like Birdman. Like, Kimishima's that dude right now. He's doing everything that Nintendo
He's making
should.
business moves. And he needed a businessman for Nintendo.
Kimmy-chan is making the moves that are logical. The moves that we've been saying for a long time that make sense, but Nintendo just wouldn't do them.
Kimishima is the LeBron of Nintendo.
Yeah. He's the fucking GOAT for Nintendo. He's saving them right now. So he deserves that 97.7%.
But this game is like mine this time.
Yeah, I'll probably end up getting this actually.
Yeah, it looks mindless.
I like these kind of hack and slash games. Looks kind of clunky, but like it's.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I don't expect it to be that expensive.
Yeah, this has gotta be like maximum $20.
Yeah.
And I don't know who this person is, people. So I don't know who he is.
He's just the guy.
He's just a guy playing the game.
Yeah.
So what is this? Kimishima will threaten anybody who doesn't approve.
Darkstar said it's like $10 or $11.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's even better.
Then I shall get that.
That is a sexy price, no lie.
Oh, damn. Is that as good as a Steam sale?
Yes, almost as good as the Steam sale.
Almost.
You know, Nintendo would change the game if they had a service like that. You could get all their older ports and stuff on sale.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
But you know what? This is like this Implosion game. I feel like a lot of people who make mobile games that are they try to be a little bit more serious though.
Yeah.
They know for this group. Why not?
They should do that. That should be like a lot of.
They could.
There's a lot of games on mobile that are not just like Candy Crush. You know what I'm saying? That are actually trying to be real games.
And they will do well on the Switch if they just like try to reach out to Nintendo and be like, hey, I got this mobile game that I think will do well in the Switch.
And I'm just gonna put this out here. This game has better graphics than Monster Hunter XX Bang Bang.
Oh, that's... oh my god.
We hitting fuckboy hours though.
Alright, well, we're gonna get out of here because we're past 2 hours now. And Retro made it right when we started. Like, he was there right from the beginning, giving all his input. So thanks for thanks for all the amazing insight you gave us, Retro.
I just be roasting people.
Yeah.
Alex, for your channel, from here on out, you should have a roast session. Alex roasts. You should have a roast session.
Well, okay, I'll consider that. But anyways, why don't you guys give your outros? We'll start with Mr. Retro, since he's got a hot new girlfriend, so he's on top of the world.
What's up, YouTube? Retro Bro here. Had a lot of fun tonight. We talked about some issues we have with Nintendo, as well as a lot of awesome things. I would still encourage you guys, if you're thinking about getting a Switch or you're on the fence, it's still a very solid product to pick up. There's a lot of games that people are sleeping on that I think is worth a while. Have a good night and God bless.
Alright, Kuuppon.
Struggle Queen in the house, doing what I do. Like I said, tomorrow it's tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow the Splatoon thing.
Yeah, tomorrow Splatoon in the morning.
Be streaming that, so you know, come through, hit us up. You know where we be. We're gonna have the struggle stream rolling through. Hopefully some good information, mostly stuff that we already know. Maybe something new, maybe not. Who knows? But we'll see. And I'll probably be streaming sometime this week, hopefully. So we'll see what happens.
All right, and Neil.
What is up, everybody? It's your girl, Nia, TheVideoGamHer. Thank you guys so much for coming out to another episode of Team Red Talking. Tonight we got up to like 33 people who came to watch us today. So I appreciate every last one of you guys for coming through and hanging out with us, listening to us talk about these topics. Don't forget to give this video a like and then share so that we can get more people to come out and watch and see what we're talking about here. Don't forget to come back next week. We should be back to our regular schedule. So yeah, man, thanks. Make sure you check us out next week as well.
Alright, and what's going on, everyone? Active Sin here. This is another week of Team Red Talks Nintendo, your guys' favorite Nintendo podcast. I won't believe any other answer than that. But this is a good show, a lot of topics, a lot of good stuff. Let's do some things you guys should join. This is our Discord group, Team Red Gaming. Make sure to join it, it's a lot of fun. There's a bunch of us in here. We just talk shit all day, so make sure to come in there. It's a lot of fun. Follow me on Twitter. I'll put that here so you can see. It's at ActiveSinGaming. So if you ever want to reach me and ask me stuff and just talk, I'm on Twitter, and it comes to my phone, so I always have access to it. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the share button. We're trying to get this podcast to grow people. The bigger the podcast grows, and if I can start making money on it, I can start investing into prizes and shit for this show too. So make sure that happens. Other than that, we'll be back next week. Tuesday is the normal day. Wednesday is not usual for this show, so check it out for Tuesdays, okay? That's generally 6 p.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow, I don't think Real Gamer's doing a show tomorrow, but otherwise tune in on Monday, because that's when we do Mario Kart 8 Monday Madness. That if they're not doing a maintenance, which is what happened last Monday, which is why there was no Mario Kart Monday on Monday.
This Monday too.
Is it this Monday as well?
It was this Monday and last Monday.
Okay, well, there you go. Like, when there's not a maintenance, we will play Mario Kart. But yeah, this is a good show, and we hope to see you guys later. Bye.
Deuces.